So I made an order on Neiman Marcus. I bought a bunch of luxury beauty. I went a couple other places and bought some more luxury beauty. And you know what that means. It's time for a trying new luxury beauty video. And I would say that the main character of this is going to be this little cutie pie right here. So this is the eye wardrobe from Victoria Beckham Beauty. This is new, and I thought that it would fit into the old component, and so I just bought the refill. I have not tested that theory yet, but I'm getting a feeling that that's not the case. This is in the Victoria colorway, I will say. Even on camera, it looks different than it does in person, and it definitely looks different than it does in the photos. I'll get into that. I also bought this. This is the Dior Diorissimo Contour and Glow. I immediately dropped it. I was like trying to text my mom back with my phone all in my hands with it, and it was just like, pff, and I was like, oh, that sounded like 7 years of bad luck, but you know, what's the difference at this point? So I have bought and tested this format before. I have a blush of this duo, but I've been trying this and it is fascinating, especially in the context of the conversations that we've been having lately on things that call themselves contours, but are they really? They could be bronzers for some people's skin tones, so we'll be testing that. When I get on Neiman Marcus, I am in a new world in a lot of ways. A lot of brands that I forgot about just sort of emerge while I'm scrolling, and boy, I couldn't help myself. This is this lip gloss, and I mean, can you stand that color? Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm so glad that when it arrived, it looked as grungy as it does online, but also, and I might just swatch this, but we will end up using it at some point. It just might not be in this look. I ordered the new lipstick from By Terry. We've never tested By Terry on my channel before, but I saw this lipstick and I was like, I am in a nude lipstick mood, and I decided to try vintage nude. So you'll see a little bit of that today. And finally, this is not new, but it is new to me. I finally did it, y'all. I finally bought the clear Baume Essentiel from Chanel. It's like every time I reach for dragé, I'm like, I wish that it didn't have color. I just want the texture, and by God, that's what we have now. So we're going to be reaching back into my stash a little bit and also testing some things that I'm testing for other videos, but I am excited to put all this stuff on my face. It's a little off the beaten path for me, so let's go ahead and jump in. This is the Decipher foundation. We talked about this. It scans your face online and they just basically make a foundation in the color that they interpret, and it works pretty darn well. I bought 3 of them, and this is the one that I think has the most coverage and a natural finish instead of a radiant finish. I think that this look is going to be a lot like, or more of an extension of, my last video where I talked about making colors work that don't necessarily want to on you. And so we're gonna be choosing colors along the way that accommodate this eyeshadow quad, because it is, let's just say, higher contrast than I expected. So I'll be walking y'all through the decision making on the shades as I go, because the eye look being as much as it is, I do have to just kind of play it safe on the rest of my face in terms of tone value. So okay, this came up in conversation with myself in a video recently. I was like, yeah, you know, I used this up in X, Y, and Z, and I like this really hydrating concealer, and I was like, I have the Sublimage concealer from Chanel. I don't know how old it is, but it smells fine. This is actually a huge anomaly for Chanel because it's an unscented product. Very interesting. So I feel like this one kind of flew under the radar a little bit compared to the Sublimage line of foundations, but it was no less expensive. In fact, I think it was a lot more expensive pound for pound, but that's what I'm going to be using as my concealer today. I like this because, well, I like the Sublimage Louboutin foundation because it is so hydrating, but I am going to, wow, that's a lot of coverage. Holy macaroni. I barely pulled any out, but let's see. Fortunately, it's not super light compared to my skin tone. It's not going to be super contrasty, even though it is quite present, more than I expected, but it does have a little bit of a brightening effect. That's pretty. That is pretty. We'll see how it complements the look of hydration as we go through, because we're going to be using, I think, quite a few powder products today, and that's not always my skin's best friend. I'm going to stay on the beaten path as far as setting powder right now because there are a lot of moving parts here. I'm going to go in just with my Kosas real quick. I hardly ever powder my whole face, but I want that Dior to go on smoothly, and it's a baked formula. It just doesn't really want to pick up, and it definitely is going to be prone to hard panning. But fortunately, this is a powder that really preserves the radiance on my skin. I want to swatch this real quick. Again, I am not totally sure that this didn't already exist when I bought them. I might have just kind of ignored its existence, but like both of those colors sync really beautifully with my skin tone, and so I figured it would probably be an even better thing to test than the blush had been, because the blush was kind of neither here nor there. That's a pretty yellow contour, but we've talked about this. It's all about relative temperature. I just kind of wonder if that isn't like more of a bronzer for me today, because I was going to use the Gucci bronzer because I want to stay in kind of a olivey rosy territory, something that my skin really likes. I don't know if you can see that difference there, but this is quite rosy by comparison. I don't want to get too far into like warm territory because it's going to contrast really hard against the eye look, and it's going to make my eyes look smaller, and it's going to really exaggerate any blending issues that I might have, any like lack of total opacity on my eyeshadow look. So I think we're going to use the Dior as a bronzer today, and that means that I need to choose a contour, which I think that we will just use the Dior contour. Yeah, see, like that's the Dior contour in 01 Light, the cream one. I think that that's the appropriate choice here. Let's do the powder first though, just because I want y'all to see what it looks like on its own. I'm gonna grab this outrageously expensive brush that I didn't pay for from Surat because it is natural bristles, and I think it's gonna do a better job of picking this product up than the synthetic bristles have. I just wonder, like, what is the romanticization of this concept that made them decide to make this product? Like, that's what I'm kind of always trying to find. So I'm like, okay, like, what was the decision making where you put R&D dollars? Like, what did you think made this special? And I have yet to really find it. And that's why I'm kind of testing for color and things like that. But it's like, God, it is pretty flipping impossible to get anything out of that freaking pan, y'all. Like, it's hard. I don't know. I don't really know what my options are. You know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to do? Take a sponge? Now, to be fair, so to speak, it is pretty close to my skin tone. Nonetheless, like, is the bronzer contour in the room with us right now. I really had high hopes for this. The subtlety is a little bit disappointing. I just want more. If I was using this as a contour, I mean, I would want to have a little bit of punch. Hello? And it is just wanting to hard pan so hard. Frustrating little product here. Like, the color that I was able to get is fine. I just am like stumped on how in the world this is meant to be used, that's supposed to have any kind of payoff. Like, there's baked products and then there's like whatever this is. It has been absolutely compressed like a diamond into that pan. Okay, we're gonna do my contour really quickly. And if y'all haven't watched my last video, I recommend doing so because I walk you through step by step the set of decisions that I make to accommodate something that doesn't necessarily want to agree with my skin tone. And that's what I'm doing right now, but I talk about it in way more detail in that video. By the way, elephant in the room, I just went absolutely nuts on my nails yesterday. You know, an Amazon gel nail variety pack hates to see me coming, you know? Like, I just watched Point Crow try and beat Zelda in like 3 different ways while I did this on my nails, so I'm very pleased with them. The base is looking pretty tan, oddly, now that I did that contour. I'm like wondering if I'm losing my mind, like if I'm going like bronzer blind. I really feel like I couldn't see that product going on, and now I feel like my face is really tan. Well, I guess we'll see, because like, I don't know, I feel like my neck is a different color now. Girl, I always think of that old contacts commercial where they're like, no, your eyes, your special eyes. Like, I'm so annoyingly sensitive. Okay, team, let's talk about this eyeshadow quad. In fact, I'm going to grab one of the palettes out of my drawer and we're going to settle this once and for all. Oh, I don't think there's any way. No. Replaceable pan, they said. Come right out, they said. Here we go. Never underestimate. Oh, you gotta be f***ing kidding me. It's like cracking. This is the old Signature palette. I cracked one of the shades. I mean, I guess you're only supposed to replace them when you're done with them anyway, so, you know, that's on me. All right, let's see. Oh, it was glued in. Why the heck was it glued in? It's magnetic. That's stupid. They probably don't do that anymore. All right, moment of truth. Actually, I kind of have faith. Hey, look at that, it does. I am sorry for speaking so ill of you, Victoria. Oh no, I'm not. I'm not sorry, because it doesn't close. I'm speechless on how brands miss the mark on just doing something satisfying. And it's like abandoning all of their previous customers by being like, sorry, the new component is the only one that this one fits into. Like, then why are you selling a refill? Just sell the whole thing. That is truly obnoxious. Hate that. So this is, let me go ahead and swatch it, because the whole situation, like I said, is so much darker than I thought that it was going to be, which isn't a bad thing, except that we really are talking about like a Chanel quad kind of issue, the thing that really keeps me from buying those. And that is that like those color value, like the chroma of them, the depth of them, the saturation of them is all about the same. And so it's hard to create an eye look with a lot of like differentiation to it when you don't have very many escape routes. You know, there's nothing there to like provide any relief. And that is a big complaint of mine, especially with very expensive eyeshadow quads. It's like, okay, I should be able to get a look out of this. Like there's still just not enough differentiation there for you to get like a highlight out of it that could provide any kind of relief. And I'm not talking about like a white, but like lighter than that. I also want to swatch, because I know that intuitively people want to see this. I'm going to swatch Mink in the lid luster. I have the Moon Dust Shadow in Diamond Dog, which I think is a valuable comparison. And then I have the Make It by Mario, the Cool Tone palette, and I'm gonna swatch I think that one against it. Now the lid luster formula is a little bit more silicone-y. I mean, don't quote me on that. Maybe on the website they're like, this is the lid luster formula, and like I'm an idiot. I like wouldn't be surprised. They do have a very similar kind of like creaminess to them, but something I did notice is that the one in the palette picks up on a brush really well, and the lid lusters I have not had that experience with. It's like they're too silicone-y to really like grip a brush. Well, they might do it on a natural bristle brush, but they don't do it at all on a synthetic brush. But look, I mean, that's Mink, and then that's the deep shade that's in there. Really, I'm just trying to be y'all's vessel right now. You know, I'm trying to kind of intuit what y'all would want to know and what y'all would want me to swatch this against. There's Diamond Dog, much easier shade for me to wear. You can see it's just lighter, you know, it's lighter and a little bit warmer. Even though the shift on it is the same color as those, well, actually it's got a little bit more gold to it. It's just a lot more accommodating to a neutral skin tone than these are. And then we have Make It by Mario, which I feel like is just gentler in general. Like it's slower to build, and none of the kind of like sparkly colors is trying to take over in one step. Like they're more layerable. So there's that. That's from the palette. That's Mink. That's Diamond Dog, and that is whatever the heck I just swatched from the Make It by Mario palette. If you have Mink, you do not need this. They are truly identical. I actually want to look it up on my phone right now and see if like it's literally just Mink. First of all, the image online of this quad, the shimmer looks green. I was excited about it being green, and it is not. It is literally just sooty Mink, but I'm like, does it have, like, what are the shades in this? Made in Italy, refillable compact, clean ingredients, shade quartets. I have to pull it out and see. Ah! Okay, no, they just number them. That's super helpful. Okay, so yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those two shades, they're not identical, but they're so similar to each other. If you own Mink, you do not need to buy this quad just to have these kind of all the same medium tone sooty mattes. Alright. The first thing that I'm going to do is base almost all of my eye with the the lightest shade, the biggest shade in here, because we're talking about a rich versus hollow situation. And in this case, I'm hoping that this is our support system. Because before, I have used this, like lay one color down where it goes. Lay one, like paint by number. This, we're gonna layer it and hopefully end up with something more subtle. I really don't want to demo like a rock and roll eye today because that's like the very obvious thing to do with this. And I did it. And it's fine, you know? It does that, but it's like for something being a quad, like you're not always going to want to have like black practically all over your eyelid. I don't know. I don't know your life. I shouldn't say that. I don't know your life. But for me, it's like, I want more versatility than that. And I think that there are quads out there that are still exciting, but you can get more than one very specific look out of them. I think Charlotte Tilbury does the best job of that. There's absolutely no way that this is going to like look at all natural if I don't put some of this also underneath my eye. So I'm gonna grab this lovely little Rephr 02, go underneath my eye, that matte. I feel like I got, that is, ooh, that's a flaw. That is a flaw. The fact that the lightest shade is next to the most unforgiving shade in the palette, I don't know how, but I accidentally got some of that shimmer on my brush when I just did that, and it is now making everything kind of sooty in my brush. Like you see how it's kind of spreading gray around? Huh. That is a flaw. Those should not be next to each other. That should be next to the brown. That said, the formulas are nice, you know. I don't mind the formulas at all. I liked the formulas in the original ones. You know, I got the signature palette and then someone convinced me to get silk and I never used it because the gold in it is way too orange and the rest of the colors just don't synchronize with it. They need to hire somebody who understands color theory. I feel like they're just going off of Victoria's taste right now, and what ends up happening is that they've got the most gorgeous formulas in the world in colors that don't make sense. Like the fact that the shade range of their lid lusters is as big as it is and they don't have any kind of useful amount of like brown, beige, deep brown neutrals for people to buy. Like why? You want to make that easy. That formula wants to be smeared all over your lid, but like they make it so high stakes because the shades are all just so like editorial, and it's like, that's not what we want. We want that formula in something wearable. Like chiffon and tea rose is about as close as we get. Frustrating. Frustrating. They need to hire somebody. All right, now we're going to jump into that brown. I'm going to very confidently build a crease here. Oof. Oh, it is so pigmented. Maybe I should mix that with the other one. Get a little bit of blendability out of it before it just like stamps down with no hope of moving ever again. Oh my God. Come on. If you're new here, listen, like I know that I'm looking really incompetent right now, and maybe watching someone watching someone like stamp a little dot of something and then expect to be able to like blend it out might be, I don't know, inadvisable for some formulas, but like I do it all the time. I do it all the time. And like that is not, it's just not, you know what I mean? It's just not. So it's like I have to kind of keep applying it in order to like get, and that's not the deepest shade. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going with a smaller brush here and being a lot more deliberate about where I put it, because this is a high stakes game. I'm not trying to like bash and trash this thing, but at the same time, it's like there is no way to use this and get like an even blend that doesn't result in the most dramatic look ever on me. It's just not as versatile as I had hoped. And out of all the ones that she just released, I feel like none of them is particularly like, I don't know, I'd have to take another look at them. I will withhold my judgment. We'll take another look at them before I end the video. I'm gonna go back in with this one and kind of blend a little bit. Perhaps I should have based my eyes. I never base my eyes, but going back over it with that beige to just blend everything. I'm looking very Beetlejuice right now with the shirt and everything. The thing is, it's a quad. And with a quad, you feel like you have to use all the colors because like that's the point, right? So we're gonna go in with this deep black that I think is honestly blue. That coolness, that little bit of like navy that's in there, which is not super apparent on the product photos. And also they do not describe the shades. They're just like, here are some colors, look at them with your eyes, you know? I so appreciate when brands put things on a website and they're just like, Madeline is a peachy beige for like warm undertones or what, something like that, you know? But this is just like, take it or leave it. It also doesn't fit in the old compact. Screw you and your loyalty. I'm kind of blending that back in. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. No, 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 no. I used the word blend. I used the word blend. Who knew that I was lying when I said the word blend? All's fair in love and football here. I don't have any fallout. Yeah. Okay, so those are those colors. And now for my next trick, I am going to perform the very simple task of putting that color on my eyes. I'm just gonna put it on my eyes and I'm not gonna let it freak me out and we're just gonna do it. It's already in this brush, so might as well use that. I do wanna use a brush though, because putting it on my fingers, I'm gonna get a look that's very predictable, right? I wanna see what this looks like when it's more of a wash. Because it does have like that mink quality to it, where when you spread it out, it has a little bit of brown in it. Or maybe it's just wishful thinking. I feel like it's wishful thinking. It's a little more tolerable. Again, I'm being really optimistic here. It's a little bit more tolerable when you just apply less of it. But it also does seem to have a little bit of blue in the shift, which I think mink does too. I don't remember. I didn't see it when I swatched, but it could be the case. Do you see how it's just looking sooty? It's like you try and use these colors in a subtle way and you just get sooty. Now, if you have a deep skin tone, like this could be probably great for you. Like, yeah, I mean, I think that seeing that now, it probably would show up in a really nice, like creamy way on very deep skin, but like, that is who this is for. I don't know why they called it Victoria, because it's like, this does not seem like something that would be easy for Victoria Beckham to use. I am just spitballing. I know that that's like a really hard opinion and people are gonna be like, actually, you know, and I'm probably wrong, but I feel like I need to defend my stance, because this is just, no matter how hard I try, it's just not looking that good. And I truly hate the shape that I have achieved. Like it looks so messy, and I am not a person who looks good messy. I'm not the person who can just like pull off messy, as you can see. So now that you've seen what this does, I'm gonna go in, bring some sanity back into this, is at least use another Victoria Beckham palette. So I'm going with Signature, boop, 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 and just, again, like filling in the midtones so that we can get to that richness and makes everything just look a little more blended. And then I think that the pink actually needs to come into play here. Just a little, kind of on top of everything. Pull a little pink in. That's kind of a lot of pink. But yeah, it's like what I wanted was to not end up with like a ton of drama, and it just doesn't really have a lot of options if you actually want to use the shades in the palette, which is kind of the point, right? I'm gonna use Luna here from Hindash, and I'm gonna go on my inner corners with that, get a little soft, maybe cool toned blend. Me trying to go for subtlety. Ha ha ha. We plan, God laughs. Let's talk blush. I want to go really chill today. I'm tempted to use that same NARS blush that I used yesterday, but it just pitched itself off of my desk, and I'm trying to take that as a sign. Garçon? Is it Garçon? Is it Garçon from Westman Atelier? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the right color. Let's try it. Gonna put it on a sponge, gonna put it on my face. Let's go. Chill, 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 chill. Something very chill. So, Garçon is Garçon. No, not Garçon. Garçon, right? I don't know. It is a very muted purple mauve. Desaturated. Desaturated. Oh no, it's one of those like I'm alone in a room talking to a camera kind of days, as opposed to like an, oh, there's a community on the other side of this kind of days. It's just like, she's losing her mind. That's actually perfect. That's actually completely perfect for this look. I love that. That really helped a lot. That really saved the moment for me. I'm gonna throw on my liner and my mascara and my brows. And we're going to come back and play with some lip color. Some luxury lip color. Some expansive lip color. struggle. I feel like I would have to really get the hang of using that. I'm really trying not to like totally, like I really think that there are people that this is going to work for. It just is not me. Let us make sure that my lips are in the best condition they can be going into this, because I'm gonna be using this by Terry lipstick. I'm probably gonna wipe it off because I know that the Louboutin goes way better with this look, but I still wanna show you. I'm not gonna use a lip liner. I just want you to see what it looks like. So again, this is a vintage nude. It's a strong smell. It smells a lot like the Prada, I think. Yeah, it is a much silkier, meltier feeling matte formula than the Prada. By a lot. Like when you touch your lips, it just glides, whereas the Prada, you gotta get that bad boy started, you know? But it also wears till tomorrow. I don't know about wear time on this. I don't mind the scent that much, the same way that I don't mind the one on the Prada, just because I feel like the color being so different is worth it, and it does actually go pretty well with this look. But that is what she looks like. I feel like with a lip liner, it's like too much. It does make me though like want to go in and put something slightly pink right on the top of the lids to just bring it all together. We might end up doing that. The gray is just, it's just graying me out right now. So that's that. Also looks beautiful blotted. Surely we can find a scent that also does not put such an unappealing taste in your mouth. All right. Straight out of the gate, one of the things that I like the most about this is that it doubles as a weapon. This is the stiletto, right, of Louboutin. Louboutin making beautiful shoes originally. So it makes sense. It's also just exquisite to look at. And this color, I do not know what it is because there's no labeling on this, but like, girl. Oh, it's so freaking pretty. I'm gonna show it to you, and then I'm gonna show you an even better way to wear it. It's so beautiful, and it's a little bit plumping. It does have a scent, but it's a little bit more fruity than floral. So when it gets in your mouth, it's like not that bad, but it's still definitely present. I'm not going to deny that. So I feel like that pulls the mauve in from the cheeks and everything. It's not overly cool toned. I do feel like it brings it in a little bit closer to like a neutral territory. I'm so sorry that I'm staring at myself right now. I'm really like paranoid, double, triple, quadruple checking my blending right now. And also just really trying to take in the color story as it's appearing there, because the mirror, it just doesn't tell me as much as that tells me. So I'm sorry. There's that. I'm starting to feel the tingle. It's really lovely, but I would like to show you what happens when you apply it on top of the MAC lipstick that we didn't use in my last video, which is Acting Natural. I'm sorry, warm toned light nude beige. Wait till you see the swatch on my hand. It might be warm on somebody, but it is not warm on me. Acting Natural is a very, very like bleached out nude that has that, I mean, you can see just like that purple gray quality to it. I'm not gonna go with a lip liner. Again, I don't want this to be like the star of the show. In fact, this is going to mute down the final effect of the Louboutin lip gloss. It's like a khaki color on me. And not like khaki lip gloss, like the color of khaki pants. Or honestly, like very close, just very, very close to my skin tone. So it's like ultimate concealer lips. And typically I would just apply a lip liner with that. But honestly, like every lip liner that I have in my collection, it doesn't matter how cool toned it is, this still makes the lip liner look really warm, which is not a look that I love. That's kind of the Kardashian thing where they always use like a warm lip. I'm like, why? I want it to be a believable illusion, and that doesn't give me a believable illusion. I want a contour on the outside of my lips, not like a pop of bronze. Like, that's odd to me. But that's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of freaking cool, right? Like, on its own. Once your eye adjusts to it, it's like kind of fabulous. I'm just blotting it ever so slightly so I don't end up with like a ton of product on my face here. But then we layer this on top. Oh my God. And it's so opaque. I did not think that it would like layer really well, but it does. There we go. Ooh. But, you know, if memory serves, that really looks like the lip gloss from Hourglass in Provoke that I used to love so much. So, I mean, I don't have it anymore. I should buy it again. Mine expired, like really expired. But this can be achieved by less expensive means, I guess is my point. Okay, I'm caving and we're putting a little bit of Aura from Hourglass on my eyeballs because I cannot deal with just the sootiness. So Aura from Hourglass is their like light pink in the scattered light, and it's cool toned enough. I think that just placing the tiniest bit of that right on my lid, because that's what the light is wanting to do right there. It's wanting to go pink so bad that I'm just gonna kind of help it along, right? Just right there. See? I'm so satisfied with that. I'm so satisfied with that. Very pretty. I'm gonna throw just a touch of that on underneath my eyes, just in like a sloppy fashion here. Yeah, I like that a lot better. Oh yeah, I was gonna use a little bit of the Baume Essentiel. That's what we were going to do. Maiden voyage here, at least on camera. I did use it a couple of times off camera because I was just so excited. So if you're unfamiliar with this, the Baume Essentiel is one of the most, no, it is the most elegant balm highlighters I have ever used. So many companies put out these balms, right, that are supposed to go on top of your eye looks. I'm still not gonna put this on top of my eye look, but they're supposed to be able to be applied to the cheeks or whatever, and they're gonna give you this really beautiful like skin finish back. And it's like, okay, but it moves all of my makeup around and it then promptly disintegrates, you know, and looks like crap. This is something that will rehydrate your under eyes after a day of like walking around and like your very fatigued makeup. Like, look at that. Pulls it back on the rails. It's wild stuff. Wild. Worth every penny in my opinion. The first time I ever tried it was at the Chanel Atelier, and I had been walking around in the summer in Soho, and I put that underneath my eyes and I was like, I'm sorry, excuse me? Like, that looks like fresh makeup, and it's gonna stay like that. It's really, really awesome stuff. Like on camera now, yes, it looks like my under eyes are sweating, but it doesn't look like that in person. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Like you could get so close and it just looks like healthy skin. It is time. Let us chat final thoughts on this hair makeup look and all the new things that we tried today. The complexion is technically like new, but we're not gonna talk final thoughts on that right now. I mean, the Chanel concealer is fantastic. It's just really lovely. I'm gonna keep it out. Do you need to run out and buy this? No. Unless someone in the comments, which I'm sure someone can, so I don't want to be like a non-believer here, but like, please, if you have found a really good way to make this work, like this particular formula, because it's not a new formula, can you let a girl know? Like, I think that this color is pretty awesome, and I'm glad that I had it to use it as a bronzer today, because I think that it really complemented the look, but at the same time, oh, I never used the highlighter. At the same time, I just had so much trouble getting it on my face that I'm wondering, like, if it's proving to be user-friendly in that respect to people, or if it's proving to be frustrating in that respect to people. You know what I mean? People who aren't me. This feels prohibitively difficult to get out of the pan to the point where you're just like, is anything happening at all here? Like, so caution, but I also welcome your experience if you have it, because I know a lot of y'all probably do. Oh, VB. What did I do with it? I just want to say, like, the one thing I can categorically complain about here is that it doesn't fit into the old compacts. That's the one thing that is not just like point of view, you know, that's a fact. And I really disagree with that decision, because I think that brands should reward loyalty, and that's such a slight to your established customers to be like, yeah, no, it's an insert, but it doesn't fit in your old compact, so, you know, you have to buy the new one. Don't love that. Don't love it. Now we get to things that are just my opinion, okay? I think that the color values are too close to each other for a lot of people. Not everyone. I think some people are going to be able to get a lot of use out of this, like deep skin tones and stuff, but like, I also think that it's a little bit cool toned for what you're kind of is sold online. Like, you're sold kind of a green, and everything looks a lot more, I'm not saying a lot more, but like more welcoming, a little bit easier to approach, a little bit more neutral, a little bit more interesting, but like, it is very sooty. That's just what it is. So if you're someone who can wear those like taupey eye looks and you want some drama, or you have a deep skin tone or something like that, and you've got the like the cool undertones or the olive undertones or something, maybe. Probably, okay? But like, it's not easy. It's just not easy. And that was the same experience I had with Mink, which is the first lid luster I ever bought from her. And I feel like this is just Mink, and they don't say it, and that's really annoying. So I want to definitely get that message out to people. If you are a collector of her things, know that this is just Mink. So I would argue you don't need this. Like, if you think you need this, just buy Mink. Mink is the exciting color in here, and it is honestly the differentiator as to whether this works on you or it doesn't. because it's the star. So like, just buy mink. That I feel like is a very like helpful opinion. If that appeals to you, just buy the pot. My mouth do be tasting like some Louboutin right now. It's not bad, but it's there. School bus is home. Let's talk about this lip situation. The By Terry, the jury's out. I will see how it kind of integrates with other things, but I will say I preliminarily like the formula. I preliminarily like the shade and the component, but like that fragrance is like, could be a deal breaker. The fragrance on this, and this is very personal, is not a deal breaker. It is super present. It very much is, because we're talking about a luxury product here and they always love to do that. I don't find that taste to be offensive at all. And my God, do you see that color? Oh, it's so beautiful. And I love that it layers so beautifully on top of a lipstick. Like a lot of times that'll end up looking real mucky. You know, you look like you're wearing two lip products kind of thing. And so that MAC matte lipstick as a base, they are geniuses. Like that's actually a really fantastic use case for those, is to like give a more opaque base for something like this so that you get richness. Although you saw my lips through it the first time that I put it on, and it's also incredibly beautiful and even. So I just like the way that they cooperate, and the evenness of the pigment is so pretty. It's so satisfying. I love when I can get really, really close to something that I've done on my face makeup wise, and it looks still like, oh, I could photograph that. Whereas sometimes that's just not the case, you know what I mean? You're like, nah, stay right there. Stay right there. This is so beautiful up close in person. So pretty. But like, I don't know if I would buy other shades in it. I don't like the formula enough that like I'm gonna go experiment with other shades. I feel like all of the components of this come together to excite me specifically. And if you really like the colors, the formula is really, really lovely. And I do feel like the colors are pretty special. I really feel like this color is special. I also said I was gonna take a look at the Victoria Beckham eyeshadow quads and see if any of them looks like it should have been the one that I bought. I just want to repeat and emphasize, I am not judging these without using them as to whether they are good. I am judging to see if I bought the wrong one, like if there was one that was better for me. So as I'm talking through all of these, I sound like I'm just like, oh, they're all terrible. It's like, no, I'm trying to see if they were the one I should have bought instead of the one that I bought, and that would explain why this one worked so like poorly for me. So anyway. Okay, so like they have a new one called Night Flash. Okay, Night Flash is one of their eyeliners, and it's like a blue black, right? No, it's not. It's just a black that either way. It's a shifting black. It's a glittery black, and it's very pretty. I think it shifts silver. And so while two of those shades are light enough for me to be able to wear, the other two are way too dark. Like way too dark, to the point that if I tried to mix those two things together, there's too much distance in between that black and that white. Like there's no way. I don't know how, I feel like it has the opposite issue from the one that I have, in the sense that like they tried to do too much in terms of contrast. So I would find that really difficult to use. The green looks utterly gorgeous, okay? Never underestimate green with like a pinky beige like that, although that is kind of a rosy tan more than anything. But I also think that those values are really close to each other, and so it's really not gonna be easy to wear for someone with fair skin. And then, you know, Navy Noir, like, I think we all know. I think we all know I'm not buying that one. Oh no, that looks like the hardest thing for me to wear in the world. Like when I put on blue eyeshadow like that, my eyes glow demon red, and like some people like that look the same way that I like a vaguely threatening like red eyeshadow look, but that is not the vibe on me. So I think that I did the best that I could, and just like this new release is not, here's the thing. I was kind of hoping that breathing new life into the brand through coming to US retailers and releasing these new products, these new colorways, was going to solve some of the inherent issues that I've always had with the brand. I will say, Victoria Beckham Beauty is one of my favorite, most trusted brands in terms of formula, and I love her packaging, the concept of it, not necessarily when they don't fit together. I always keep an eye on the brand because the formulas are exquisite. They are. They really, really are. There are very few formulas out of her line that I have not been like super impressed by. But I was hoping that this round of releases was going to kind of accommodate that middle ground that they can't seem to cover of things not having to be insanely exciting. You know, it's like you make these beautiful formulas, but you make them kind of unapproachable in the sense that like you feel like if you don't put bright colors in something or really deep colors in something or something very rock and roll, that it's going to be forgettable. And it's like what people want is usefulness. And I feel like that's the issue here. It's not that necessarily those quads aren't going to work on anybody. It's just that I don't really see them as like useful, because a quad is supposed to be something that like you get a full look out of and you also see it as a simplified version of a routine. If it was like a palette of pops, like Charlotte Tilbury, like say so, you know, these are just all shimmers and you're not going to be able to like get a full look out of this quad, fine. But the idea of a quad to me usually is that you are able to get at least a few looks in terms of either, you know, enthusiasm or restraint based on what's in there. And I just don't feel like they're thought through in that sense. That doesn't mean they're bad. That doesn't mean they're unusable. That doesn't mean that you can't get excited about them. I just don't think that they're super user-friendly. And that's what's gonna keep me from recommending those things, is that like, can you get a good look out of it? Yes, a lot of my viewers are beginners and I am not comfortable recommending something like this. Even though I like the formulas pretty well, I just feel like her color choices, she has yet to make something that is incredibly useful. I want to see some universal palettes come out. Not universal, like each one is universal, but like things that like everybody could get use out of depending on skin tone. I would love to see the lid lusters in browns, several browns that like bedroom eyes. God, I'm gonna do it. I'm manifesting it. Like apparently I'm the only one who seems to understand the thirst for this in the market. Anyway, that formula is so gorgeous. All those formulas are so gorgeous. The colors stump me. I just don't understand why that's where the R&D dollars are going. Any hoodles. Those are my very strong opinions. I know that that is a lot and that people are going to disagree with me in the comments, and that's fine. This is a loving community. We all have different experiences with makeup. This just happens to be mine. But I like the way the look turned out today, even though I had to incorporate a lot of other things. Anyway, y'all, thank you for being here. If you liked this, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're new here or you just haven't subscribed yet, subscribe while you're here. We would love to have you. I'll put a video up here that I think you'll enjoy if you liked this one. Thank you so much for being here. I love y'all so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.